There's the lineup: Murdoch, Sylvester, Lewis Francis, unmistakably from Birchfield Harriers in lane 3, Soiree, Safo Antwi, Dasaolu. Well, Lewis Francis not away to a great start. He's going to have to work very hard to make it through to this final. But look at James Dasaolu go. Magnificent. Mark Lewis Francis in second place. 9.91. Wow. It's legal. A following wind at plus 1.1 meters per second. What a way to go through to the final. Second fastest ever, only to Linford Christie in the British all-time list. How about that?
I clocked 9.91 and I'm like, whoa, I've done it. I've gone sub 10. My name is James Dasaolu. My event is 100 meters and I run it in a time of 9.91, which made me the second fastest British athlete of all time. Been doing athletics for 10 years now. I started when I was at the age of 18, 19 in my college days, so I'm kind of a late bloomer in the sport. You know, most of the people who I was competing against started when they were as young as 13, 14, but you know, through hard work, you're always going to be able to kind of achieve what you want to achieve, so that's very important. I'd say one of my first ever races in athletics and doing track was probably running the indoors in Sutton Arena, South London, which is about 20-30 minutes from me. It was a place where I used to train. I think I'd ran a time of 7.11, and then it was like, then that was the heat, and then come the final, I broke 7-second barrier for the first time in a 60-meter race, which was a really big thing for me as a 19-year-old at the time. So that's probably one of my first ever races I can remember as a track and field. Getting into it was quite tough because I used to always being the quickest in my school or just at local or county level. But as you start to get to national level, you realise, okay, you're not the only quick one. When you get used to not doing so well and losing it, it builds up a certain type of resilience, so you know what it is to work hard, what it is to things not to go as well for you. So that's kind of my early years of track, and I just kind of progressed quite nicely. So I remember my first season, I think I ran 10.7. The next season was like managed to knock off half a second of 10.3. I started to get recognised by my governing body. Next thing I know, I'm underneath my first professional coach, Michael Kamel, and I'm in Loughborough. For me, and one of my goals that season and just generally for my career, I would say, was that I really, really wanted to be a sub 10 runner, because it's the true stamp of, to say, one of the stamps I'd say that you could say I'm world class, you know. It's my national trials for the World Championships. I'm in great shape that season. I've just run 6:48 indoors. I've run 10:03, I host a 10:0, so I know that I'm really close to the sub 10 barrier. Just need to execute my first 10 meters. As soon as I execute it, I know it's on. I know all I need to do is not mess up any of my other segments of my race, just stay relaxed. And yeah, 10 meters out from the line, I'm already watching the clock, watching for it to stop, because I know I'm running quick. I know I've executed what my coach told me to execute, and I'm just waiting for the clock to stop. I clocked 9.91 and I'm like, whoa, I've done it. I've gone sub 10. So for me, it was like, I was just so happy, overjoyed, because I managed to go sub 10, and as well as going sub 10, for the first time I had a time of 9.91, which also ranked me the second quickest Brit at the time. So it was almost a perfect race for me. I actually ran it in the semi-finals of the British trial, so I actually had one eye on running the final. So I do believe I could have gone quicker, but yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. But I'm still happy with the time. So I shouldn't have said it wasn't perfect, should I? It's just another training day like no other, so it wasn't to be expected or anything. So I was just kind of just out there, just running. Training was really, really going well. I was kind of getting ready for the indoors. I was just running outside, just doing some endurance work over 120 meters, and then about 60, 70 meters into the run, I just felt like I heard a pop, and it felt like someone had kicked me at the back of my calf. Obviously, I just went down like a ton of bricks, and obviously I looked down, and I just saw I'd obviously hurt my Achilles tendon. At the time, I didn't know exactly the severity of the damage, just know I just injured myself. And obviously within a few hours I got a diagnosis, and then I just kind of known obviously it's going to be a big injury now, and I'll probably be sidelined for quite a while. I got on the phone to the doctor straight away as soon as it happened. He came down, they scanned my leg, and obviously they said, look, if you're ever want to run again, you need to get this operated with as soon as possible. So for me, I was just happy that number one, for what I consider probably the best surgeon in the country was able to see me and get me in such short notice. So that was a relief. Obviously the money came from a crowdfunding. Obviously the public were really behind me, wanted to see me get back on my feet. Not just the public, but also my teammates also contributed to helping with my surgery. So that was a really added support and a bonus. Past coaches, teammates, training partners, everyone just kind of crowded me and was there to support me. So obviously this was my career-saving injury, I say. So after I had going into theatre, I was just so happy and sad at the same time. Happy that the fact that I'm fortunate that I'm able to get this surgery and get back on my feet again. Obviously sad the fact that I'm going to be missing the 2019. It's going to be a long path, but it's one that I know I'm able to battle through more so than anything else.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. My Achilles has been fixed and I'm ready for the fight.
In terms of the next steps, obviously I'm now week 5 or 6 of it. Obviously I'm no longer in crutches, so for the first 2 weeks I wasn't allowed to weight bear, 2 weeks leading up until Christmas, and then I think after that I was able to partially weight bear for a week, and then by week 4 I was now able to fully weight bear, and all of this has been pain free. I've been able to hit all my goals, and yeah, I'm just obviously started now my rehab and physiotherapy. So yeah, it's all been really good so far, you know. I've hit everything I've needed to hit. Of course, injuries unfortunately are part of the sport that we go in, and every athlete at some point in their career is going to get hurt or injured, and I always say it's all about how you get back from problems or situations that are always going to be able to define you as a person. So every time I get injured, I just look to learn from it, look how I'm going to become better, how can I strengthen the area and make sure it doesn't happen again. And that's kind of what keeps me going, to know that I can get over it. I've got over injuries in the past, and whatever the injury is, it's always important always to persevere and continue. I'd say for me at the beginning of my career, I ran through too many injuries and didn't stop when I was actually hurt. So my biggest advice to myself going back 10 or so years ago is just to rest is just as good as training. I think my biggest advice to any athlete wanting to start in their career just in track or any sport is enjoy it, and you got to live for the moment, you know. You can't overthink it, and you can't be too serious. It's good to take it serious, but just make sure you enjoy what you're doing and you don't get too nervous, more so than anything else.